Anyways, it is I. Look, just outside. I'm under this bridge. Anyways. Hey, look at this cool back around. Anyways, it's your boy. You already know who it is. Gang. Haha, no gang affiliations here. Woo. But anyways, I watched Interstellar. And this is an Interstellar review. Phew, look at the sky. Anyways, Interstellar is a masterpiece. Easily one of Christopher Nolan's best works ever. Like, I mean, The Dark Knight is like super good, but just like Interstellar, and even though I said Oppenheimer is bad, then don't watch it. Well, not don't watch it, but I would not recommend it, type thing. But it is good for some people in like a niche market because it's basically 3 hours of been talking about nuclear physics. Like if that gets you if they get you up and that's your drive, go right on ahead. Anyways, this is what I'm wearing. But anyways, if that's your drive, nuclear physics for 3 hours, go right ahead. But as for me, I cannot do it. You know what I'm saying? So, but it is his like best like technical like really well done work. But you give one of the best directors of all time space? Not the game I go out and die for, but space? Yeah, you give Christopher Nolan space, outer space, and he puts on a masterpiece. And honestly, this is the craziest thing is, this feels like a horror movie. It feels a lot like a horror movie, and there's a lot of similarities between Interstellar and by Zack Snyder, Sucker Punch, which I just did a review of. Go check it out. I need that. 2 million subs, 2 years. Let's get it. 2 million subs, 2 years. Let's get it. Why not? You know. Anyways, help a brother out. Anyways, but yeah. So basically, what I was just saying is, yeah, just like the ending of Sucker Punch is just like very like. There's a lot of just like it's not doing it on purpose, but it's just like it's like really cool, unique sci-fi. There is action, even though it's not like fighting. There's action. The ending is similar, and the beginning is kind of. There's a lot of similarities to me between Sucker Punch and Interstellar. At first, you don't really see it, but just like from a everything standpoint, just if you were to describe the scenes in Sucker Punch and Interstellar, it's like the ending is this positive, really, really happy, you know, go conquer the world ending. The beginning is just really like poetic, kind of plot twisty, foreshadowing, and then there's all these different cool action parts that just keep harkening back to the same story that you think is kind of in pieces, but it's one linear story. And at the end, it's like a big plot twist. Which Christopher Nolan has pretty much trademarked at this point, just plot twist. But Christopher Nolan has this like European, edgy, suave to him, you know. That's Christopher. He has in everything he writes, and you can tell like every one of his movies is Christopher Nolan, but he's very good at not having the same tone, the same type of thing. Even though his style might be pretty similar, he doesn't have the same like. He doesn't have the same things as a lot of writers, because like a lot of directors. Because if it's Michael Bay will have actions, and then some of Michael Bay's sequences will be kind of similar. But Christopher Nolan doesn't have that. He's really good at making each one of his films like different pieces of art. And yeah, and Christopher Nolan is an artist. I think Zack Snyder is a great filmmaker. I think Christopher Nolan's more of just Zack Snyder's. They're both artists. Like Christopher Nolan is like he's like art, like not like he's just an artist at what he does. Like I feel like when he does it, there's an artist touch to him. He has all this knowledge of science and math and all these things like that. But really, he just uses it to create like art, like a beautiful image, a beautiful story, a beautiful thing that people can enjoy. And he does it, but like he's not. You can't compare anybody to Zack Snyder. You can't compare anybody to stinking Christopher Nolan. You just can't. They're just so far unique. There's so even James Cameron, you can't. There's no James Cameron comparisons. Not really. Quentin Tarantino, not really. Well, no, those are for the greatest actors who, for the greatest directors who have ever lived, and you just see that. Just like you can't really and like this was like good progression into sinking. Matthew Stinking McConaughey and Anne Hathaway. First of all, Anne Hathaway is great. I think she's to me, this is one of the best roles I've seen her in. Although I think she was better in Batman with Christopher Nolan in the Batman series. I think she was better, or the Batman Begins, or not the Dark Knight and the Dark Knight Returns. I think Anne Hathaway was way better, and she was more kick-ass in that movie. But I think she was just better. But she has a stirring performance in this one. But everyone does. Like when I'm talking about good movies, a lot of people show up. So I think Matthew McConaughey as well was just unreal, completely unreal. But I think Anne Hathaway was just as good as Matthew McConaughey. Matthew McConaughey, he's just really, really, really good at being great. Like when it's time to there's roles where I've seen he was like, he kind of phoned it in, but it was like stealth. Or like Robert De Niro, sometimes he's not all the way there. But but I think Matthew McConaughey, to me, is better than Robert De Niro because when he shows up, like his peaks are so high when he's doing what he does. And I feel like it feels like he's not even trying. That's the thing. When Matthew McConaughey is like at his best, it feels like you're just watching a human. He's just so good at being, like, it feels like the real Matthew McConaughey. And I've seen, like, videos of Matthew McConaughey and him, the character. He just, like, he finds a way to make the characters like him. It's just crazy. I don't know how to describe it other than that. But just stellar. Matthew McConaughey. And the thing about Matthew McConaughey as well, he's not the greatest actor ever, but he just has a gravity to him. He has that twang. He has an accent no one has. He has a look no one has. He walks the way no one has, you know? So he has a lot. He's just very distinct. It's like people like Christopher Walken or Denzel. They're all very distinct, but just Matthew McConaughey, he's just there's not really like a lot of like country vibe actors. But Matthew McConaughey is just a great actor. So you kind of just get this, all right. Like, he just has his own gravity, pretty much. So, yeah, pretty much. He just has his own gravity. He killed it. I mean, Anne Hathaway is a barn burner as well. Jessica Chastain, I've seen her in different movies, but this one, she really did her job. Like, she did her job. Like, this wasn't a role that, like, she's supposed to she did what she was supposed to do really, really well. And I actually remember her with other characters. So, to me, like, if I can remember you for contributing to the film, then you did good. But I think she was a really important part in the film, and she actually... she made me care. She didn't have a main role, but she made herself a main character in it. Even though she was like, she's a daughter and she does have a main character, but sometimes you could be the main character, but you're not like present. She has a lot of presence in the film, and she does an excellent job. And very memorable. Jessica, I looked at the names briefly, and I was like, bang. Matt Damon, come on. Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, all the Boston boys, even Mark Wahlberg, they show up. They show up for work. And who else was in this movie? Matthew McConaughey, Anne Hathaway. Casey Affleck was in this. Speaking of all the people that showed up, they showed up. I don't think there's anybody else where I'm like, I'm shell shocked. Let me think, because I just watched this not too long ago. Like, I watched most of it last night, and I watched some of it this morning. But let me do some thinking thoughts. I could easily just look it up, but I want it off the dome, you know what I'm saying? The dome. But let me think. Yeah, I think that's the only thing, like, yeah, it's just those, yeah, Anne Hathaway, man. And Jessica Chastain. And Matthew McConaughey. Wow, this movie is just a wowzer. Easily a master. It's probably the easiest, this is like an A+ masterpiece. There's things that are like technical just masterpieces, like you have to say, The Godfather is a masterpiece because it's it's such a well executed. It's just a good movie. Like technically, like the shots, the scenes, the story, the character, all that stuff. But this one is just like an A+ masterpiece where it's like a I don't want to say true masterpiece. It's just stellar. You see me winking? You see me winking? It's stellar. It's just fantastic and easily one of the greatest movies I ever watched. And this is why I have a fluid list of my top 10s, because it's a crime if this is not a top 10 movie of all time. Honestly, it should be the top 8 greatest movies of all time, because it's in space, it is cool, it's visual. Like, even if you don't like the theme, it's just so, like, that 40-foot, that not even 40-foot, that like several mile high stinking wave is terrifying. I saw it and I'm like, wow, imagine if that fell on you, you know? And I feel like the things you've seen in this movie you haven't seen in every. There haven't been a movie where we're actually in deep space. You know, I feel like there's so much discovery and so much interesting aspects of that that really only Star Trek ever really goes into. And yeah, Jonathan Nolan, you did Person of Interest. Stinking great. Christopher Nolan, you directed and co-wrote this. Like, I mean. They're just everything is absolutely marvelous. Just standing ovation. This is a barn burner. This is a barn burner of a movie. It's very distinct. There's nothing like it. It's very surreal. It's very intense. It has a lot of action. Just boom, 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 bang, boom, bang, pow. This is just out of this world type movie. It's just you see it with. But yeah, for real though, on a serious note, this movie is fantastic, and that's the only way I could say this is a fantastic movie. There's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. You can't say that for a lot of movies, and it's not just because it's in space. It's because of just the spaceships. Just what goes. I don't know, man. This movie it's different. It's just not. This is like it's like. If you're playing like kickball and you're like a kid and you're like, oh yeah, kickball, and then like Lionel Messi and the greatest soccer players of all time show up and they start kicking, bro. Like, you're like, you got no chance, you know? It's negative. At this point, it becomes negative. And this movie is just 100% awesome and ridiculously bossed, and there's people coming, so I'm walking. But anyways, Interstellar, stinking fantastic. Credit to Jonathan and Christopher Nolan. I was absolutely blown away. And this movie was fun. Christopher Nolan, still, in my opinion, not the greatest director ever. Is still Quentin Tarantino, and probably James Cameron has it. But I need one more thing from Christopher Nolan for me to say he's the best. Even though he's my personal favorite, I need one more thing to say that he's the greatest of all time. And one thing alone, I need him one more movie where it's out of his comfort zone, and like just something like a dumb action movie, or just like a romance movie where he's not being so Christopher Nolan-y. Not like his like signature Gustavo. Like, do a new signature. Have a new. I don't know. I want a different fire in a subject you haven't done yet, and then I will dub you the greatest director, or the second greatest director of all time, because ain't nobody beating Quentin Tarantino. I'm sorry, he's just the best. But Christopher Nolan, you can be second best, and you deserve that title. But I can't put you over James Cameron. I don't think. Not just. I'm a stickler, me seeks.